This video is for you if you've been trying to lose weight by eating less, because that's what you were obviously told your whole life. People told you that you need to work out more and you can't find yourself staying consistent. By the end of this video, you're going to have a complete 90-day blueprint that's actually going to work for you. This video, it's not meant to be watched just once. You're also going to realize why your past attempts haven't been working, and it's not about trying harder. You need to stop telling yourself, I'm gonna try this diet, I'm gonna do this diet again, I'm gonna try harder. We need to get out of that cycle. We're gonna do something different so that you get a different result. Because what if I told you that the reason you keep struggling, it isn't because you need to eat less, that it's actually because you need to be eating a little bit more for a long period of time, so that your body can actually start trusting you again. It's like you've been asking your body to run a marathon, but you've been only giving it enough energy to go to like the mailbox. And then you wonder why she's not cooperating. We're gonna learn how to listen and move with our body. So today, you're going to learn how to fix that. I'm gonna give you a blueprint where you can just insert yourself into it. One that gives you the results where you can eat cookies every single day and still lose weight. Where you can go on vacation and you're not worrying about the scale going up. Results where you can still go out and enjoy social events without stressing about the food that you can or you can't eat. Before we can actually lose weight and see the scale go down, we need to focus on your metabolism. Why? Because this is how fast your body converts or uses up energy. Imagine your metabolism like a campfire. Most of us have been trying to lose weight by taking wood away from the fire, but your fire is kind of already dwindling. It's kind of barely burning. So what happens when you take the wood away from a dying fire? It goes out completely. That's why we need to focus on this right now. We need to bring it back. You know, we need to add some flames. And this is why if you've been eating 1,200 calories or eating 1 or 2 meals a day, maybe you're even working out every single day. And if you're still not seeing results, this is the reason why. You're exhausted, you're cranky, you're thinking about food all the time. This is why you'll lose 5 pounds and then you'll gain it all back or even more. Like your metabolism, AKA like your inner flame, your inner fire, it's barely burning and we need to kind of ignite her again. And here's what nobody actually tells you. There's something called your BMR. That's your basal metabolic rate. It's how much energy your body needs in order for you to just be alive and do nothing. Literally, if you wake up and you just lie in bed, you still need to eat, even though you're doing absolutely nothing. Now, do not get this confused with your BMI. That's where your doctor uses that outdated scale to tell you if you're overweight or if you're obese. When I first started, my BMI told me that I was overweight. Trust me, I wasn't at all. So it's insanely outdated, but BMR, let's focus on this because most diets have you eating below it. It's like expecting your plants to grow. I'm looking at my plants right now. They're like really pissed off. But expecting your plants to thrive and live when you haven't watered them for years. So how are you going to find this magical number? I use something called the Harris-Benedict equation. I'm not gonna write it down. You can Google it. It's the most accurate, but if you don't want to actually deal with the math part, you know, like the bed mass and all that stuff, just look up a BMR calculator. Find 3 of them. And then just find the average because you're going to get a whole bunch of different numbers. So that's why we want to find the average. But this will be very important when I talk about our release era that's coming up, okay? We got 2 eras. Actually, I'm going to give you a bonus one. We're going to talk about a 3rd era as well too. But we're going to do 2 main eras in these 90 days. So when you eat below what your body needs, AKA your BMR, here's what ends up happening. Your body kind of panics. Like there's not enough energy that's going into your body for it to literally just lie in bed and just operate just like that. So that's why your sleep's going to be really bad because your brain thinks there's literally an emergency every single moment of the day. Like you get cranky because your blood sugar is all over the place. You think about food constantly because your body is actually literally telling you, not just telling you actually, begging you to eat. But we're told all the time, get rid of your hunger, get rid of your cravings are bad. It's your body communicating with you to at least eat enough for your BMR. But then these diets are telling you to eat underneath that amount. And then you're going to hold on to every single aspect of body fat because that's the only source of energy that your body has right now. You've kind of been telling her for years that she's not going to get any support more than this. So it makes sense why you're feeling uncomfortable all the time. And I know you're eating healthy, but the fitness industry has kind of transformed barely eating into healthy, and it's not. That 1 or 2 healthy meal that you've been eating, that's the reason why you're struggling to lose body fat, to actually keep body fat off. And I know your body might feel like it's broken. It might feel like it's very uncomfortable. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do when she thinks that she's starving if you're eating underneath this number. But now you know this. So make sure whenever you are going into any plan, if you're starting any program, never allow anybody to eat underneath this. So never. So here's what we're going to do differently this time. We're going to build up that campfire. We're going to build ourselves back to even at least being able to eat enough of this and then get to the place where we need to currently be. We wanted to tell your body that she's safe, that she can be able to thrive. And then we're going to politely ask her to let go of the body fat. Okay? Politely. Not abrupt. Not go crazy. We're gonna be polite to ourselves, okay? So here's your 90 days broken down into phases. Our first era is our restoration era. When I say restoration, I mean like to restore. Whether it's talking about your metabolism, whether it's talking about getting your period back, whether it's talking about feeling balanced, going to your doctor's appointments, and not being scared that the doctor is going to tell you that you have high blood pressure. When I say we are focusing on restoring, we're restoring our body back to normal. You're feeling like a normal human being. We're not trying to lose weight right away. And I know that sounds scary. This is going to be a part of those trust the processes type conversations. I want you to think about it like renovating a house. You can't just slap fresh paint on the walls, especially if they're already crumbling, and then expect for it to look beautiful or come out amazing, because the paint is just going to peel right off because there's nothing solid underneath to hold it, right? We need to rebuild those walls first, make them strong and smooth. So when we go to paint it, it looks gorgeous. It lasts forever. Making sense? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out what your restoration calories are, your maintenance calories. So very quickly, I know we're talking about calories. I'm going to show you how to use them properly. You're going to be so happy. You're going to realize, wow, I can pick and choose. I can fit this in and fit this in. This is when it gets exciting. But you were probably taught calorie counting to be depressing. When you learn how to do this properly, you actually get excited to track. I know that sounds a little like Krishna's chill, but I promise you, you'll realize when you have this space for food, you get excited about what you can actually eat. I know all of you are foodies. You keep saying, I'm a foodie, I love eating food. And then you look at food and you're like, I want you so bad, but you don't fit in my plan. I'm gonna show you how to actually make it fit in your plan. Go online and find a TDEE calculator. So you're going to find at least 3 of these calculators, and then you're going to find the average of them because again, they'll spew out a whole bunch of different numbers. But since you don't have, a lovely coach as myself stalking your life, this is going to be our best option so that you can move and act very quickly when it comes to this plan that you're creating. Do not look at deficit calculators. You actually don't need deficit calculators at all. And I'll tell you how to properly get in a deficit in your release era, which is going to be phase number 2. Stay away from the deficit calculators. But I must warn you though, if you're used to seeing less than 2,000 calories, this number that you get for yourself is going to scare you because on average, the women that I work with, they're eating at least 2,300 calories in this era. And that's why we need to work up to this number slowly, because if you're only eating 1,200 calories right now and your maintenance, as in your TDE, is up to 2,500, don't jump straight there. Add like 100, 200 calories each week until you get there, because we want to avoid as much weight gain as possible before you quit right away and you're literally just like, wait, stop, this is a weight loss video. Why are you saying that there's a possibility of weight gain? Before you run away, I'm gonna make someone pop up here, one of my clients. How much weight do you think she lost here? Just take a moment, guess, put it in the comments. She only lost 5 pounds. Yeah, and here's another queen. How much weight do you think she lost? Take a moment. Guess. The scale actually told her that she gained weight here. Yeah, but it doesn't look like that. Like the scale, it will go down as well, but I just want to show you the 2 options that you're going to be afraid of. But looking at those 2 options, should you actually be scared of that? Or is there a voice in your mind that's trying to keep telling you to stay the same? and not get out of your comfort zone. Think about it. Anyways, the scale isn't going to be our main priority right now. We will get to her, I promise. But the way you'll be fitting in your clothes, your energy, your sleep, your blood sugar, your cholesterol levels, like, they will all be happy. That's what we want to focus on right now. So let's talk about protein, the one that you've been told that you need to increase and you have to eat more of, okay? You don't need to track your full macros, by the way. That's a lot of effort. We can just get to that level another time. But in this era, all we're going to focus on is going to be your calories. So calories are queen, and then we have our protein. So while you're in your restoration era, you want to aim for 0.8 grams of protein per your body weight. So if you weigh about 200 pounds, that's going to be about 160 grams of protein. If you eat anything lower than 0.8, you're actually in a protein deficiency. That means health-wise, if your nails are a little brittle, if your hair isn't growing or it's, it's cutting off, you have a lot of body aches. It could mean you're actually in a protein deficiency and you're not eating enough protein. Fitness-wise, you want to build muscle, you want to build a booty, you want to have a toned body. This era, it's going to be really important for you to get there and then work your way up to 1 gram per pound of body weight. The more muscle mass that you have, which is what you're going to be building here, the less fat mass that you have. And also, the better the results in your release era. And also, don't increase your protein too quickly. No one warns you about this, but if you try and eat like 0 protein to like 50, you're going to start bloating and feel just really uncomfortable. A very simple, quick tip, by the way, eat every 3 to 4 hours. It just tells your body that there's a reliable source of food that's going to be consistent this time. And also pay attention to the way your body communicates. Because right when you're hungry, that's when you get a little anxious. That's when you get a little brain fog. You get a little fatigue, a little headache. Just listen and realize what she's trying to say, because as soon as you start working towards this, you're definitely going to realize a huge difference in the way that your body moves. Because now she's like, oh, hold on, we're not starving ourselves anymore? I can possibly move a little bit more? I could possibly maybe pump blood the way that I wanted to for like the past 5 years? Wait, hold on, maybe we should sleep. Maybe I should let you fully sleep. All those things are going to start happening because you're working towards this. That's why our scale intention is coming soon. Just get here first. And I promise you it's going to get 1,000,000 times better. You just need to continuously remind yourself where your focus is and where it's not. We tend to try and do everything all together, all at once, and that's when we struggle to be consistent. This phase has certain intentions. The next phase, we will get there, but we need to make sure our attention is in the right place. I just really want to hone this in on you. The most successful clients are able to just focus on one thing at a time. I promise you, you will be successful too if you do that. Oh, sorry, I forgot one more thing. We also need to talk about our workouts, because you need to be doing strength training 2 to 3 times would be perfectly fine, but no crazy intense workouts, okay? Just basic strength training to build muscle and show your body she's getting stronger. And I'll add in the description below a workout guide, like exactly how to program your workouts, because I don't want to make this video too long. The guide will tell you exactly what to do, whether you are a beginner, maybe you work out from home, or you've been going to the gym and you definitely need structure, or you've been telling yourself, you got this gym thing locked down. Literally every single one of my clients will come and be like, I just struggle with nutrition. I already work out, like I'm fine. And then they get in and I'm like, okay. And they look at how they're supposed to work out and they're like, oh, I knew nothing. So yeah, use the guide, because that guide is something that I wish I had when I first started. I did some crazy stuff when I first started. But yeah, use the guide, and these are the things that you focus on within this phase. Now, like I said, during this phase, your weight is going to fluctuate. We actually don't want it to fluctuate too high up. It'll fluctuate maybe like 5 pounds, and that's actually normal. I know everybody tells you that you need to go straight down. There's still going to be a fluctuation here, and that's okay. That's literally the reason why the scale isn't going to be the most important. Your metabolism and all these things right here, how you're sleeping better, your mood is stabilizing. This is where, by the way, as much as there's going to be health benefits, as long as you're doing this, you're going to start losing inches. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, whoa, hold on, where did this muscle come from? You'll get really excited. Like, you'll start looking to see yourself in photos, or you'll start like just doing certain things and you're like, is this my, I just want you to get there. The way I'm describing it, but when you feel that, this is when you start realizing, oh, This is the cheat code. I want you to do this and experience this. Even if you don't do this 100% right, you're still going to get results. And then you'll realize when you want to get further into this and actually have somebody guide you, you obviously know who's going to help you. That's actually the whole main point of me doing this, is for you to at least get started on doing the right things, because you might have been doing the wrong things for a very long time. I was for a very, very long time. Let's make sure that learning curve isn't as steep as mine was, or maybe you might be steep right now. So let's get you out of there and just take baby steps to being able to accomplish this. You'll start immediately realizing that your body's trusting you. This is also the reason why you should take progress photos. Those progress photos, they don't lie. When the scale decides to tell you that it's gonna do a whole bunch of things, the progress photos saves you every single time. So before we move into the next era, I wanted to stress just some major points. Like, you are still focusing on your restoration, your metabolism. Your body is learning to trust you. Don't get impatient and try to cut calories just yet. We're building a very strong foundation. Keep being consistent with doing the same thing over and over again, with eating enough, with getting enough protein, with sleeping 7 to 8 hours, with managing stress by just doing things that fuel your inner child. This phase is about proving to your body that you're not about to just do another diet, that you're not just going to quit in 2 weeks. You're proving to yourself that you're about to stick to something that works. And what's beautiful is when you start seeing those changes in your body, even though you're not dieting, your body is going to start letting go of that body fat because she finally feels safe enough to do so. Phase number 2, your release era. By the way, please like this video or I'll block you. I just want to know that this is helpful. You know, if it's not helpful, then I get it. You don't have to like it. But if you do, like it. Because if not, I'll see that no one really likes it and I won't do anything like this again. So like it. So your release era. Step number 2. This is where everyone wants to get to. But remember, we need to focus on here first. I know I keep reiterating it, but this part won't work unless you make this part happen. Right? So this, because you worked on this part, your body's actually ready to release the weight. This is where we can finally create a deficit that you've been hearing about all over the internet. But we're gonna do it the right way. The way that doesn't make you mad that you ruined your plan after 2 slices of pizza. Okay, you don't have to actually feel that guilt after eating food that you actually enjoy. So we're gonna use this in a way that actually serves you. That's going to stop you from struggling with all the things that you've been dealing with your whole entire life. Here's the simplest way to create a deficit. I'm gonna show you a visual first before we get very technical, so this makes sense. So let's say in your first phase, you're in your restoration era, and one of your meals, your many meals, not just 1 or 2 meals, you end up having 2 burgers. So you'll notice that these 2 burgers have 2 sets of buns, and these are the 2 patties. Now, if we're going to transition, because we've been consistently eating these turkey burgers and we've been giving our body energy and we've actually been moving our body and working out and not killing ourselves at the gym, and we allowed ourselves to take that necessary time to give our body what it needs, now we can shift over to a release era where we're not just going to cut out carbs, we're not just going to stop having sugar, we're not just going to limit the time that we actually eat food, we're not going to put all these restrictions on us, we're just going to take a little bit away, slowly at a time. So if you start off with these 2 burgers, we're going to end up shifting this over to maybe 1 burger, but we're going to have 2 patties. So when you're going from your restoration to your release era, AKA you're utilizing a proper deficit, you're just going to take away a little bit of carbs each time. Carbs do not make us fat, but we want to keep our protein high so that we don't end up losing our muscle. We also keep our hunger at a steady and fair place so we don't end up getting overly hungry. So if we have to take things away, the best things to take away right now is going to come from our fats and our carbs. This might be the reason why people keep saying get rid of carbs when you're trying to diet, but they took it to an extreme. We can just shift over from 2 turkey burgers to 1, but we just keep the 2 patties. That's exactly what we're going to do. And this way you can still eat the same foods that you had in your restoration era. You just have to do a different type of portion. And portions are very useful, but when you understand calories specifically, you can get a lot more accurate and you can use whatever foods that you want. So let's get into the calorie aspect of it so you can understand your other options rather than just the visual about the turkey burgers. I'm hoping this helped at least, so then when I do conversation that we're gonna have about calories now, this visual makes sense. Also, the main goal of this is so you don't have to scroll on Instagram finding like those new healthy recipes just to make them and realize that they don't even taste good, they taste disgusting, and then you realize you have no food prepped and then you start binging on the easiest, most accessible thing because because your cravings are going out of control. And then you get mad at yourself because you dive into your cravings and you feel like you actually have no self-control. And then you tell yourself that you're a failure, and it takes days, weeks, or even years for you to actually find yourself able to start trying again. We don't want that. So that's why when you go into phase 2, don't try and find a whole bunch of new recipes. Just eat what you ate in the last phase and just shift it a little bit. Don't try and change your whole life. Make this simple. We're creating a simple plan for you. Here's what we're gonna do. Phase number 2, we're going to be creating a simple, small deficit utilizing 200 calories from what you got at your maintenance. So if you're at 2,500 calories, you'll eat 2,300 instead and lose weight. Doesn't that sound great? Especially when you might have used to struggle at 1,200 calories to lose weight before. Or maybe you were juicing. Maybe you're cutting out food after 8 p.m. This sounds simple and cool, but I also know you might be hearing all these numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to even eat 2,300 calories? Trust me, when you get there, you'll look back wondering how the hell you tried to live off of anything less than that. And the thing is, when you start taking away now, once you did all of this, you're still going to feel that small amount that we take away, because you now understand your body communicating with you at this point. You know what she says and what she needs. You're gonna find it hard to ignore her again. So even if we just take away a little bit, you're gonna be like, damn. But we're gonna show you obviously how to deal with that. That's the important part of phase number 2. Dealing with the hunger, because our hunger cues are actually very important and we need it. If you lose your hunger cues here, that's an immediate red flag for us as coaches to say that your metabolism we need to go back here and work on it. So that's the other reason we work on here, so we don't need to get out of this quick. We want to have a full release phase. So this comes in phases. We're getting to that point, okay? Please make sure you're taking notes. So yes, this phase, and I keep going back to it, we want to work your body up to being able to eat as much as possible so that you can function as much as you possibly can, but also so you can eat a lot to lose weight. Like, doesn't that sound nice? This is now where you want to get your protein from 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of body weight. But let's say that you're 200 pounds. Although I've actually had a client be able to eat 200 grams of protein consistently, which was like a beautiful thing to see. I was like, that's crazy. But I want you to instead focus on your goal weight. So maybe it's 180, maybe it's 160. Use that because eating 200 grams of protein is like a little overwhelming. So idea is we want to keep our protein high, because in this era, you don't want to risk losing the muscle that you built here, and also because protein is going to keep you full. But we want to lose weight. We don't want to lose muscle here. And that's what happens when you do all those diets. You do those crash diets, you lose weight very quickly, but what you don't realize is you're also losing the muscle that's helping you actually burn fat more. And then since you lose more muscle and you're just gaining more fat, you're losing muscle and more muscle over time and gaining more fat and gaining more fat. And then it gets harder for you to be able to actually lose body fat and lose weight and keep it off. This is getting you out of that cycle. A cycle that you might not even realize that you've been doing. We're now talking about trying to shift all of this into this phase. So what about your workouts? What about your strength training during a deficit? This will continue, but since you're in a deficit, you need to be aware that you don't have the same amount of stress or same amount of strength as your restoration era. You were eating more here and you're giving yourself more energy. That means you're probably not going to be able to lift as much as you did in this era. Each era is different and has different intentions. You have to stop trying to do everything all at once. What's the most important for the release era is paying attention to how you feel. That era too, but this one for sure, because if you are exhausted, if your sleep gets really bad, if you start missing your period, if you're thinking about food all the time, your body might be telling you that you weren't ready for that deficit or you're doing too much of a deficit. And this is why we don't just have like weekly check-ins with clients, for example. Like, you have access to us 24/7 because life likes to life and we need to make sure we shift. But after 4 weeks of this, then we adjust. As in, if after the first week you don't see the scale budge, don't change what you're doing or don't start adding in any crazy amount of cardio. You need to be consistent with this first. Look at a 4-week trend, not a day, not a week. When you see the overall trend of the scale going down like that, but you can see that the trend is going down. We want to be able to get more information so we can make a decision that's not based off of our emotions. I have so many literal scale charts of clients that look something like this. But But imagine if they gave up, and the scale will literally do a million things. You can put a little bit more salt in your food and all of a sudden the scale goes up. But here, again, we want to be able to focus on an overall downwards trend. Just don't allow one day of the scale or 1 week to shift you. We need at least 4 weeks of consistency here first before we change anything. You can do it, okay? You can do it. I promise you can do this. I promise you can do this, okay? You got this. Just a little pep talk. After 4 weeks, when you see the scale trend go down, then you can increase the deficit slightly. Maybe subtract another 100 to 300, but never go below your BMR, because the range that I put, the 100 to 300, depends on many factors, like if you have any underlying health issues or how long you were in like your restoration era as well too. So please ask questions below as you're utilizing this blueprint. So you should expect, by the way, 0 to 2 pounds per week of weight loss. And 2 pounds is aggressive. So next time you see your friend or someone online say they lost 20 pounds in 1 week, you'll know they're probably doing something a little crazy that is not sustainable. Notice how I put 0, by the way? This is why you don't want to freak out after 1 week. Focus on a full 4-week trend. Now, phase number 3, your bonus round. This is going to definitely happen after the 90 days. Don't try and expect to do all this and the recovery era. But we do need time to get out of the deficit. The next phase is going to be your recovery era, because if you do this properly, you're in a new body now. So you kind of need to maintain your results. The thing that we all struggle with the most, and no program actually helps you out with. And I'm going to make another video on that and what that means and what you're supposed to be doing. But in a very simple term, you're just doing this over again. You need to recover from this stress that's on your body. And ideally, you actually want a higher maintenance. But it also depends on, your overall goals and you specifically. But the truth is, like I just said, you can't be in a deficit forever. Your body needs to return to functioning properly, feeling like a normal human being, being healthy. Your body's going to battle against this deficit. And if you stay in it for too long, you're going to go back into that cycle of losing, gaining, because your body will get used to the deficit and that will become your new normal. You don't want low calories to be your normal. You want this to be your normal, and you go into these phases 3 months maximum, because we got hormones that we need to deal with. I know you're probably told that you need to lose everything all within one deficit phase. Your body's not capable of doing that. Your body actually doesn't even want to do it. So that's why you need to do these phases. Fat loss comes in seasons. It comes in phases. It comes in eras. In these 90 days, what's really happening is that you're not just losing weight, you're completely healing your body and your relationship with food. That's what the intention and the focus is on. You're learning to eat like a normal human being and feel like one, instead of someone who's always constantly on a diet or trying to diet or unintentionally diet. You're building muscle and strength. You're fixing your metabolism so it works for you instead of against you. But I must warn you, because the number one reason why you're going to fail at this is because you're going to be impatient. And you're not going to give yourself enough grace. Life is going to throw things at you like it always does. 1 week you won't be perfect. By the way, you don't need to be. I promise you, you don't. Ask all my clients, you really don't. But you need to remind yourself, I didn't eat enough this week. Maybe let's bring the dial down. Instead of trying to do 1,000 calories next week, maybe we try with 50 or 100, or we try that goal again next week, right? We don't get mad or upset with ourselves. You need to make these types of decisions on your own. And sometimes we can't trust ourselves to do it, because we also need to deal with those emotions that are trying to keep us in the same spot. And that's why it's important to have a coach. That's why it's important to have somebody that will work with your emotions. But when you're like, oh my God, I only lost 1 pound this week, I want to add an extra cardio day, I'll be like, please calm down. We need to allow your body to see that you're consistently doing this. And then remind you that you don't need to switch things up, because our body craves routine. And it doesn't have to be a boring routine, by the way, too. I know some people, when I say routine, you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to say no to everything. But a lot of things you do have to say no to. You need to start saying no to a lot of things. Once you do that, life is beautiful. And saying yes to things. You need to start living life a little bit more too. Balance! But anyways, when you do this right, when you take the time to build that foundation, something beautiful happens. You don't just lose weight. You don't just see the scale go down. You actually keep it off. You don't want to avoid the mirror anymore when you're getting ready to go out. You actually look forward to getting dressed. You want to go dancing. I have so many clients who are like, I just want to dance again. I want to go out again. And I'm like, We got you, girl. You know, like you start feeling more confident. You start running a meeting, you're at the front of the room, and you're not mentally thinking that everyone is looking at how big you are. You're literally in your space saying, I'm doing this amazing presentation and they're listening to me. You can walk without feeling your knees after 10 minutes. You can play with your kids without getting winded. Like imagine if all you did was this. If all you did was listen to this YouTube video, you'll be able to sleep through the night. Your brain won't be spinning as much as you normally would. You can go to restaurants and eat normally and not worry about gaining 5 pounds just because you enjoyed the time with your friends. Imagine if that's all this did for you. Now, you may be able to do this all in 90 days, but it will most likely take you a little longer. I know you're thinking, but coach, just sounds so slow. So I want to lose weight now. I get it. But let me ask you this. 90 days compared to what? 6 months even compared to what? Even 1 year compared to what? Please be honest with yourself. How many times have you lost weight quickly and then gained it all back? If you're able to do this in 6 months and this stops you from 5 years of struggling, what would that do for your life? Ask yourself that question. You know how many times I've asked myself this question? What would happen if I literally just allowed myself to do this? What are the great things that can actually happen from here? Because this works. You just need to trust yourself, be honest with yourself, and just pay attention to what your body is saying now that you're learning how to communicate with her. This is very simple, but it's not easy. And the only reason it's not going to be easy, it's because of you. You're going to get in your way. That voice in your mind that's telling you, I shouldn't eat this much, is going to get in the way. But if you'd like me to personally stop you from getting in your way, I'll always leave details on how we can help you in the description, of course. And if I don't have space at the moment, there will always be a wait list, of course. So as a reminder, start here. Also figure out how much you're eating right now before you start working over here. Don't go from 0 to 100. Take baby steps and then work your way towards a release era. And then you're just bringing these goals, just dialing them down a little bit when you're over here. Because your body is capable of doing all of this. It's capable of doing incredible things. You just need to give her what she needs based off of the season that she's in with her life. Because you're not behind, you're not broken. You can heal in so many different ways, especially when it comes to what you're putting into your system. So I hope this helped. Let me know if it did. Like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.